Well, I will acknowledge I printed out the thing that we're going to be talking about next, and that is Sam Bankman-Fried's letter to the employees of FTX. Attorneys for the collapsed crypto exchange painted a grim picture at the firm's first bankruptcy hearing, detailing ongoing challenges and a substantial amount of stolen or missing assets. This, as indeed Sam Bankman-Fried issued an apology letter to employees yesterday. And this apology letter is pretty incredible here. I mean, I think, it's so interesting. We pivoted from seeing this kid as a wonderkind, right, who's 30 years old, to I read this letter and it sounds like a young person who doesn't know how to run a company. And seemingly, it's hard to know if he's sort of putting it on that I don't know how this happened, what's gone wrong, or, is it put on because we know that some of his other personas have been put on, given the reporting that has come out, or is it genuine here? I feel deeply sorry about what happened. I regret what happened to all of you. I regret what happened to customers. You gave everything you could to FTX and stood by the company and me, he writes in this letter. And he goes on to sort of detail some of the financial distress.
In those text message threads, I think it gave away everything that you needed to know about the authenticity of Sam Bankman-Fried. And
the DMs that he had with the Vox reporter. Yes,
exactly. And how disingenuous he was and the persona that he was putting on for everybody from venture capitalists who were going to fund FTX and turn them into the decacorn company in a private market valuation, all the way to some of the very lawmakers and legislators that he was working with to try and write up what that legislation may finally look like for the blockchain and crypto landscape more broadly. And that persona was one that was very much just trying to give a charismatic person that they could look at instead of actually giving a trustworthy face of crypto or actor of crypto as well going forward that they could rely on for an extended, not just an extended period of time, but for really to put the borderlines for how this industry could operate together.
Well, that's a very good point there, trustworthy and trust in general. You read things like this, guys, and you get the sense that can't trust any of these folks here, just based on what Sam Bankman-Fried is talking about. And because of lack of trust, we have still not seen a sustained rally move or sustained move higher in Bitcoin. Last time I checked, it was a little over 16,000. So the more this info comes out, it just seems to be adding more pressure to the entire crypto space.
I mean, I would push
look,
back.
It hasn't moved.
I would push back slightly and just say, just because this guy didn't know what he was doing doesn't mean no one knows what they're doing, right?
Right.
Necessarily.
Right. Even if they do. Because of this, can you trust that person?
I think there are trustworthy projects.
Can you trust him?
But you can't trust projects. But you can't trust him.
I mean, that's not to say everybody in crypto is untrustworthy.
Right.
Well, I mean, for right now, I would say that's how crypto prices are reading it.
The other thing, too, is, though, that you don't have other people who are as vocal as SBF has been leading up to this point, too. Joe Lubin is not as vocal as an SBF, and Joe Lubin is extremely trusted in the broader consensus methodology that they have put forward, both in consensus and the Ethereum network as well. CZ, a lot more vocal, but is he gaining some trustworthiness over this whole debacle? That's perhaps a question that's suited for anybody who might actually be an SBF supporter still to this day, if there are any to be found, or anybody who's just looking at what CZ did to say, maybe he had another notion, or maybe he had something, some MO that he was trying to get across. But still, there are people that are trustworthy. It's just clear that this entire debacle has meant that SBF is no longer trustworthy. And there's a question of, all right, what are the intentions that CZ has as well moving forward from here too?
And did everyone who put their faith in him, are they untrustworthy as well? Or did they just
didn't do due diligence?
Right.